Ramses is not only
Good morning,
the...
everyone from Barcelona, Spain. It is my pleasure to be back to the ITAPA event and gathering. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much. So basically you are also a colleague from ISACA, so former international president, vice president of the board as well, and I have to say, very highly appreciated speaker on many international events and conferences. So really warm welcome, and please, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and again, massive appreciation for having us, for having me. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to invite you again, as I did on May this year, already with the pandemic going. I'm going to invite you into a journey. I'm going to invite all of the attendees to the journey of the future of now, the future of right now. Listen, 2020 is a year that changed everything. 2020 is a year that actually everything stopped, correct? But there is one thing that didn't stop, and that is cybercrime. Cyber criminals are actually using, the platforms that we are using from home, from afar, from remote offices, weak connections, weak platforms, no robust enough systems in order to attack us. So welcome from MicroFocus, welcome to the journey of the future present, the future that is so present that deserves the idea of the future of right now. I think that in any industry, any vertical, any geography on the planet, healthcare, retail, telco, government, education, but any geography, especially your region, we need to go back to the beginning. Am I right? We need to go back to protect and defense, protect and defense, protect and defense. But with a twist. We need to protect and defend with the idea of evolving, the idea of going back to normal, or at least to the next normal, whatever that means. So going back to the beginning deserves asking the right questions to the right people at the right time in many dimensions. In that future of now, that requires different angles to be considered. Of course, identity, but of course, data security, and of course, application security, as those applications are going in that cloud journey, going back and forth into the cloud. So going back to the beginning. So when we and my colleagues in the region with MicroFocus, and especially thanks to my colleagues in marketing that helped me to put this together, when we were talking about the future of now and going back to the beginning, especially in these troubled, exceptional times, we thought about the DNA. The DNA is the molecule that carries all of the genetic information for any living organism with the functions of birth, growth, development, function, and reproduction. Let me repeat: birth, growth, development, functioning, sometimes unfortunately malfunctioning, but let's keep that aside for a moment, and then reproduction. So am I right if I say that your companies, am I right if I say that our organizations, our societies, our communities of the world, they want to be born, they want to grow, they want to develop, they want to function in a good way, and they want to reproduce. Actually, we teach these at the University of Economics. When we teach business administration, every company on the planet wants to grow, wants to reproduce, wants to make it bigger, larger, stronger. So you cannot do that. Any living organism cannot do that without protection and defense. And that's instrumental, again, for our hospitals, for our schools, for our governments of the world, associations, organizations, entities, healthcare, telco, education, the DNA going back to the beginning. But talking about going back to the beginning, let me again, on behalf of my company, of MicroFocus, how we understand this future of now. Do not get me wrong, security and cybersecurity, and you know it better than me, it's fully instrumental. We have been doing things for decades in this industry, for decades. So security is about protection and defense and identification of threats, and then responding, yes. and especially, and that's my tribute, that's our tribute to the healthcare professionals that they have absolutely saved the day. But of course, we say with all due respect, because many families, many colleagues, many people have lost their loved ones. Okay, but security, as you can see in the left-hand side of our slide, is about protection and defense and safeguarding, correct? While this is security, on the right-hand side of the slide on your screen right now, that's resiliency. That, ladies and gentlemen, that's resiliency, the capacity to endure. And again, we have to celebrate. Unfortunately, we have to be absolutely sorry for the lost ones, you know, for the loved ones that they have suffered and gone away. But we have to celebrate people, our elderly people, going out on their own foot, on their own feet, out of the hospital, right? Why? Because resiliency, mark our words, resiliency is about anticipating, withstanding, recovering, and evolving to the next stage, to the next normal, to the next version of us all. Anticipating, withstanding, which is a synonym for resisting, for enduring, recovering, and then evolving. That's our vision of the world. And we at MicroFocus, we think that while one can certainly be absolutely secure, but don't take care about being resilient. So you can take care of security or cybersecurity, but don't take any care of cyber resiliency. One cannot expect to be resilient without the foundations of security, protection, defense, identity, application security, data security. That's the name of the game for that future of now. So cybersecurity, instrumental for success, but cyber resiliency is the name of the game. And of course, in that journey, it's not going to be an easy journey, isn't it? It's not going to be. No, because we have to understand storage devices and different databases and data lakes and machine learning and the Internet of everything, not just the Internet of things, but the Internet of everything, big data, and wow. But this is why it's fundamental to have a holistic vision. Mark our words, a holistic vision, leaving no system behind. From the mainframe, if you still have it, to the different clouds, from the applications into the universe of devices that we all are using, you know, different tablets and PCs and Macs and Linuxes and Macintoshes, so back and so forth. I remember quite well, and again, it's my honor to be back to an ITAPA gathering. I remember well my metaphor of chess in May this year, 2020, roughly seven months ago, sort of. So I have changed a little bit my metaphor of chess. I remember on this very same stage or screen talking about chess and the king and the queen, etc. Okay, the thing now is that we not only have one chess, but we have three chesses. The three chesses, the three platforms that are pervasively connected, identities, data, and applications. And in the future of now, that deserves some questions and some answers. Who has access to what, when, and how? How are we encrypting and tokenizing data? And how we are ensuring that the applications that actually store that data and information are bug-free in their cloud journey. How we are using different, open source libraries in order to code in Python or Java, or so how we ensure that they are updated, that they are the last version, that they are again free of vulnerabilities. But you can see that the three board games of chess are pervasively connected: identities, data, and applications. And in the future of now, in the cyber resiliency arena, that's absolutely instrumental. What you are seeing now on screen is my shorter version of my machine learning session. Because on top of that, the future of right now, that requires to collaborate, not to fight machine learning, but actually collaborate. Use algorithms in order to help us understand data. As I said before, we have data lakes. We don't have databases anymore. And I will have the honor of doing another session after lunch, 1 p.m. CET, just 10 minutes about next generation SecOps, okay? And I will drive down into the idea of using machine learning for the greater good. but also using machine learning to provide a risk score. When you use machine learning and then the algorithm can bring you super deep contextual analytics and contextual authentication, depending if it's Ramses, 9 a.m. in the morning, Barcelona time same time in your region, from a known approved device or from a non-sanctioned device, that makes all the difference, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, let me drop you one of the coolest additions that our engineers have invented or at least applied. I'm not saying that we invented them, but I am amazed. I am not an engineer myself. I'm not a technical guy myself, but I certainly understand things on technology, right? And I love it when someone tells me about pre-admission controls. Let me repeat, pre-admission controls. So let's check if it's Ramses, if it's from Barcelona, Spain, if it has the right credentials with 2 or 3 factor authentication. Pre-admission controls, great. But then, ladies and gentlemen, what happened with post-admission controls? Let me repeat, post-admission controls. Once I am in, the company still needs to check that I'm doing the right things with the right privileges into the right systems with the right data. Now, more than ever, thanks to machine learning, that's technologically possible and economically viable. At least we at MicroFocus, we are proving that. Not just for security operations, again, I will have a session later into the day, but machine learning applied to identity and access management. Machine learning applied to unstructured data discovery. Let me repeat, not structured data, unstructured data discovery. Actually, in the 4 minutes that I have left, because I will want to be absolutely respectful with the time.
Approaching closely to the limit. So,
yes.
Yeah, please.
Someone wants to say something, or if you guys can mute, I only have 4 minutes left. Thank you very much. I'm inviting you to connect the dots. We are inviting you to connect the dots. I said the same in May 2020, and I'm using the same metaphor with a twist. In the center of my metro metaphor, there was privacy at that time. I have changed it. I have changed it for this specific session for you guys this morning, because in that journey that I was inviting you at the beginning, remember my second slide? Back to the beginning. So with our metroma, we're going back to the beginning. If you want to anticipate, withstand, recover, and evolve to the next version of yourself, to the next normal, whatever that means for our societies, the right stop at the center of the city, of the metro map, is cyber resiliency, the capacity to endure, the capacity to resist. But you cannot do that without identity management or application security or data archiving. You cannot do that. You cannot do that without understanding how you are going to retire applications, or how you are going to do, listen, not just encryption, which is great, and actually GDPR, I heard in the previous session that GDPR was mentioned. Yes, I'm going to mention GDPR as well. I was there when it was drafted. I worked myself with the Article 29 Working Party. I was there in the early stages of what later became GDPR, right? But not just encryption, that is mentioned 7 times at least, if I recall correctly, within the law. Not just encryption, but tokenization. There is no mathematical relationship between a data that has been tokenized and with the original data. So even if you get a data breach in this future of now, which is a tragedy, if you get a data leakage or a data breach or you're hacked, which is bad, it is considered a mitigation strategy if you have encrypted data or tokenized data. Because if it's tokenized, there is no mathematical relationship with the original data. So in the journey that I'm inviting you, that we are all at MicroFocus inviting you this morning and later into the day with another 10-minute session that was 15 minutes, and I am on my minute 13. So we are inviting you into the journey. If you take line 1 or line 2 of my metro line, structured data or unstructured data, how you need to fight the disciplines of shadow IT and shadow data, how you need to fight the answers, to find and fight the answers on who has access to what, when, and how. But not just in one system. I understand that many people in the room and in our at home or screens, you have done great things on identity management. The question is, on every single platform? No, I'm putting money on the table that the answer is no. For every cloud that you have access to, two-factor authentication, DLP, robust authentication, actually embracing the world, not of the 3 A's, authentication, authorization, and administration, but the world of the 6 A's. I'm doubling, not just 3 A's, authentication, authorization, and administration, 6 A's. What happened with assurance, starting with an A? What happened with authenticity, starting with an A? What happened with auditing, starting with an A? That's what we do for a living at MicroFocus. In data security, in identity and access management, in application security, and later into the day, today at 1 p.m., about the next generation SecOps using and utilizing super profound, super deep machine learning. That was the journey I wanted to invite you this morning, but the journey of trust, the journey of earning the trust of people. In the very same way that you are trusting this fantastic conference, in the very same way that we are trusting technology that allows me from Barcelona, Spain, thousands of kilometers away, to be addressing you this morning, which again is a pleasure. In the very same way that we trust technology, your customers, your companies, your employers, your governments of the world deserve to be trusted if they show a robust and solid approach to cybersecurity and cyber resiliency. That's the name of the game. This is what is required in the future of now. The journey from cybersecurity to cyber resiliency. It was a pleasure to present for you this morning.
Thank you very much,
Ramses
Ramses.
Gallego, International Chief Technology Officer. Again, a pleasure and a privilege to be back to an ITAPA conference. Back to the organizer. Thank you very much. And thanks from the MicroFocus part. Thank you guys. Back
Thank
to
you
you.
very much.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ramses. Looking forward to your afternoon. Bye.